Hey viewers, welcome to another game of the Casual Pro Gamer. This is a game from DreamHack Summer, and it is between MStephano, who of course is one of the better players in the world, and MouzCCMaNa. I've never seen him play, so I don't know how good he is. I know that the Mouse clan is very good. So this is a Zerg versus Protoss, and Zerg versus Protoss normally starts up with a fast expansion with Forge. Come on. Pylon. There we go. So this is going to be pylon into like Forge, Gateway, Cybernetics core, leaving a small gap over here, and then putting a cannon over here somewhere. And then yeah, just this entire thing will be blocked. At some point he will put up an expansion, and the Zerg player normally will just put up the spawning pool somewhere like here, and then go into fast expand. If you don't put up a spawning pool as a Zerg player, or not quick enough, then the Protoss player is going to fast expand first. And if you do have a very fast spawning pool, then the Zerg player is just going to, or no, if you have a very fast spawning pool, then the Protoss player is going to put up the Forge and Gateway first. So it is better to go for an early spawning pool, but I don't think on this map that it really matters, because on this map, as you can see, it is a pretty long distance between this base. You have to get all the way over here, and then over here, and then over here. And so by the time you get here, he does put up the Forge first, but is then probably going to go into expansion. But yeah, it's all about the distance between the two, of course, and when the spawning pool is coming up. But if you put up the spawning pool earlier, then you will lose you will lose the ability to make drones. So normally the spawning pool is put up with drone number 18, because, well, at that point you have to build an overlord anyway, so you might as well just spend one drone on the spawning pool and then go for that other drone while your overlord is spawning. So here we go, the expansion going down, and now he's going to build the gateway. And oh, first a photon cannon even. So a little bit afraid of the Zerg player here. And there you go, the gateway and the cybernetics core will obviously come up after the gateway. And that means that he will put that over here, the cybernetics core, and this will be the gap that's open. And that way the photon cannon is behind one of the buildings, and it's harder to surround, it's harder to reach in general for the Zerg troops. So the Protoss, or the Zerg, is going to expand twice at the same time, which is once more than we normally see. Sorry, had to sneeze a little. Well, actually a lot, but I figured you wouldn't want that on your game commentary. So the Protoss is coming up here with the scouts. The two Zerglings are going to pick off the scouts, hopefully for him before the probe reaches the base. But the only important thing is that he doesn't spot the third base, and he is going to go straight into that, and he is going to see it. Oh man, it sucks to be you, Mr. Zerg. Oh yeah, that is no good. He didn't have enough of a defense to hold off that probe. Sends out the zealot. I don't know why it's lagging. Oh, it's okay now. I wanted to pause it for a second because that solves the lag, but it is very annoying to deal with. Anyway, the gateway warp gate research coming up, and he decides to put his cybernetics core over here, leaving his photon cannon completely open, so that can now be surrounded by Zerglings and taken down really quickly. Normally, yeah, we see the photon cannon like behind this building or something like that. Between these buildings maybe. That way there are only like 3 Zerglings that can hit it. Now it can be hit by like 8 Zerglings. And that is a very big deal. Because that means it will only be able to shoot like twice, taking out 1 Zergling. And of course, trading 1 Zergling versus a cannon, that is not a good deal for the Protoss player. So we see a couple of Zealots and Stalkers coming out. And yeah, they are just here because they know that the pylon going up, just to be able to warp in more. And yeah, the troops are going to be able to pressure the front. They're here because he saw this this second expansion, 3rd base, and yeah, if he doesn't do something about that, if he doesn't put pressure on, he's going to be behind in the economy. And of course, the Zerglings are going for that Stalker, because Zerglings are great versus Stalkers. Zerglings are not so great versus the Zealots. But the Queen is pretty good versus the Zealots, and there you see the Zerglings just melting instantly. Couple of lurkers coming out, not lurkers, come on, roaches coming out, and the roaches are going to chase away these stalkers, and not only chase them away, it seems they are moving into the enemy's base. Yeah, they're just going to go full in. And does the Protoss have anything to defend? Hang on. No, units. He has 4 stalkers, which is not enough. He does have the 4 sentries, which are going to be able to wall off this gap pretty efficiently. And they are over here. So there comes the defense. Let's see how he does this, because this is going to make all the difference in the world. He is going to be able to defend pretty well. Yeah, there he wanted to snipe the cannon, but there's just too much over here, and he's not going to be able to push in at all. There is no expansion over here, so all in all, yeah, he'll just have to back off. So sniping another probe, it's not a big deal, but the probes are pretty valuable when they're on the field, because it's hard to get probes on the field from this point onwards, because, well, there's a Zerg army out that can be anywhere, and you need like pylons to warp in your troops. And well, the Protoss player now lost all control over the map. There is no Protoss unit at all on the map. He is just in his base, and he's going to now take back that map control. Going to open up this this middle path. And a new pylon going down. The pylon is there, of course, to warp in units, but yeah, he does have a warp prism, making him able to, well, warp in wherever he wants. And yeah, the roaches are now on the ramp together with the Zerglings, and my god, what's happening today? So the roaches and the Zerglings are going to be able to do some damage here. There's a pylon coming up, but it's instantly getting killed. And yeah, those force fields are not good enough to close out anything. And wow, he is going to be able to kill all of the roaches. How did that happen? Wow. Did he? Yeah, he has way more stuff than our Zerg player, because all of the roaches are somewhere else. I don't know where they are. They are over here, and he does have an eye on that. So the observer is there, and he knows there are a lot of troops over there. Lots of force fields, and this is going to spell doom for the Protoss player, Zerg player. Sorry. The Zerg player is not going to be able to move into the army, loses a lot of troops, while the Protoss player just sits there and destroys everything. And yeah, he's going to block off the troops once again, and this is so good. This is how you use those force fields. Oh man, yeah, now the Zerg player comes in because he's running out of energy. The sentries no longer have energy to cast those force fields, and with the spine crawlers there, he is going to maybe hold off, but it's still going to be hard because there are still a lot of these immortals out. And the immortals, yeah, you need Zerglings to deal with them, but the Zerglings are, yeah, really bad against this number of Stalkers, because the Stalkers will just instantly pick them off. And here come the Zerglings, and is he going to be able to save this hive? Because the hatchery doesn't really matter, but the hive does matter. And he is going to, well, just do some damage until someone shows up. Oh man, he has to, the Zerg player just retreating everywhere and trying to keep his drones safe, but it is not going to happen. He is going to lose a lot of the drones, well, probably all of these. And he is trying to build up an army over here, but that is not going to be helping this base anytime soon. So he is trying to take down the hive. The hive is going to go down. And yeah, sacrificing that hive is really hard, of course, but what has to be done has to be done. The only way to survive is to build up a good enough army to snipe this one when it comes down. But with all the war pimps going on, it is hard to, well, to defeat this, because he can just resupply his army. And so just like the Zerg player, only he started off with a bigger army and he still has a bigger army now. So the Zealots coming down the ramp first, then the Immortals, but the Immortals are going to get killed by the roaches. But there aren't enough roaches left to take care of these guys, and yeah, I think this is it for the Zerg player. And yeah, he doesn't have anything left. And that was a really nice GG there. Yeah, that was really well played. Thought at some point that he was going to lose because of the I want to say Stalkers every time, but it's roaches. The roaches, they encroached on his base, but he held off pretty nicely, and then, well, I don't know how, but I think because he kept resupplying his army from here, and the Zerg player did not. He lost all of his roaches over here, and then from there on out it was just, yeah, a nice push with the observer there. He knew exactly what was coming, so he had a lot of these sentries out, fully loaded with energy. And that was an amazing fight for the base, and of course the Zerg player wants to do that once more, but because there was a warp prism with him, he could just warp in his new troops, and yeah, very nicely played, I have to say. So anyway, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. GG.